Hello, hello. We're gonna watch Smash and we're gonna see how he plays Yunara with an enchanter and how he's able to carry the game from there. In this case, we have Karma into Bard, and then we also have the Sazerael matchup. We've discussed a little bit about it before in the channel, but it's always fun to go through it again since he's a popular champion anyway. Karma has a really strong level 1 spell to push the wave with Q and to harass, right? Bard will have bursty trades to go with his electrocute. He's gonna need auto Q auto. Karma will only need one spell to land to get per comet, and then both Yunara and Azrael have lethal tempo and they want to go for extended trades in their level 1s. So a lot of what's gonna happen is gonna come down to their supports landing good harass and being able to convert from there, as well as, you know, decent trading from the ADCs. I would expect both lanes to try really hard to play for push and see what happens. Okay, so here Karma is able to sweep out the ward that Azrael and Bard placed. And we also have Graves invading their bot side jungle, which is why we kind of had the priority to be able to push these guys under their own tower. But although this is just Korean solo queue and these guys will just go completely mental if they need to. Anyway, look at how they probably got a really decent trade onto the Bard early on in the game and forced him to recall, and that's why they were playing so far up. But this right now isn't even looking that good anymore because we're missing so much HP compared to the Ezreal, and the Bard is decent conditions compared to Karma as well. So let's see how this evolves. Yunara has a slight minion lead, goes for the auto Q, extends the trade, both barriers are spent. It's a big level 1 trade for the Ezreal. I think it's a bit due to the missing HP from the Yunara in that first trade. It was just too difficult to win this one. And, you know, these pros will also make these mistakes sometimes, and that's how it goes. I think Yunara thought she could win there against the Ezreal due to the stacked Q, but since Ezreal also had the lethal tempo, probably decent passive stacks, then that's why it became such an unfavorable fight. Here, wave state's okay for both. Ezreal gets level 2 now. Getting a nice slow push into their tower. In this case, we're gonna crash it right now. We have a really big wave. This is something you want to do. You want to focus on getting big waves under the enemy towers. When you do this, it gives you more time to harass, it gives you time to ward. Whereas if you just push a small wave, then they just take the wave away and you have nothing to do. The enemy ADC isn't busy farming, right? You can guarantee a number advantage somewhere else, since this guy is pinned to his tower. So here, Yunara is playing pretty aggressively. We know Graves is on bot side, so we can always play a little bit with that information if the guy wants to come bot and play for a dive. But we need to get these guys into better conditions. Yunara is very low mana right now. Let's see how aggressively this is played. So Graves is currently on enemy Raptors, and we're trying to harass in their tower. So I think you could look to squeeze this much, but the thing that we should care about when we try to convert this into our own games is Graves is here, right? He's in this side of the map. Playing quite aggressively. If we do this and we don't have these wards like in this side at all, right? It's so dark. But the thing is, they have this very deep vision, which you likely won't have in your games, right? Because your jungler and your mid lane aren't gonna be able to do this. So what you should do, always ward before you push. If you're playing this deep into their tower, just make sure you ward first. And then you play a little bit accordingly, right? In this case, we're strong-sided by our Graves. If there's any action that happens and the enemy Lee Sin comes bot, the Graves will follow and play with us. However, if our Graves is top side, he's here, and we're playing this far up, we're just a free kill for the Lee Sin and we're begging to die. We still have flash, right? Which is not that bad, but we don't have that much mana. We don't have ultimate yet. So we don't have that many escape tools as well. In some, get your vision done before you play like this, or at least be strong-sided. In this case, both happen, right? We have this vision here in their jungle, which is even better because you can see the enemy jungler coming from farther away, as well as having our jungler around. It's perfect. And it's why they're allowed to harass like this. I think that is a bit more interesting going for this perma push. Yeah, there's the Lee Sin. And there's the flash that we have to spend. Both flashes are spent because we're still we're playing. I'm not sure if the Lee Sin managed to avoid vision. I'd have to actually check the VOD, but let's assume he did. I mean, it's still possible, right? What the hell? What's happening there? Well, that was a bit weird with the Lee Sin play. Maybe he couldn't W over that thicker wall. That probably is it, right? There's probably an angle where you can get it and he just missed it. He's not keeping the wave here. He wants to base, right? He's on 1100 gold and he's communicating on my way, and he wants his jungler to help him push out. It's really good. Jungler smiting a cannon and actually not taking it. Goat. But yeah, also notice here that it kind of messed up his own recall tempo to get this plate. So if you still have that baby plate going on, always make sure to leave an auto Denny base. In this case, you have such a massive crash as well, which makes it quite worthwhile. Here we're back to lane. The wave is in this spot because the Ezreal has been slow pushing it. In your games, you may have players who are going to fast push this, and you're going to be closer to your tower, and that's really good because you just farm this a lot more safely rather than having this many minions to play against and these casters all dealing damage to you back after you poke the Ezreal, right? That part can be a little difficult. It also ends up being a nice roam timer for Karma because you're quite safe. You can't really die here unless you get dove. Between Bard and Ezreal, it's not that easy to get dove. It's just very easy to get poked in their tower instead. But look at this valuable freeze that he ends up developing here to try to maintain himself from being in harmful conditions. Very intentional, deliberate way of managing the wave here. So here he has these 5 minions alive, right? He's going to leave them up to 3. Lets this minion here die. And now he wants to play a little bit with these minions, and the wave meets here. And this is a super safe spot for Yunara to play from. You're never going to risk dying in like a weird bush because the Bard could be there and you know your Karma isn't. That is the really big deal there. Now it sucks we still get landed some of the harass here from the Ezreal, but the idea is that simple, right? You just want to avoid being in awkward spots. Here we see the big fight breaking out. I think this type of angle is really difficult to play out in your solo queue. I feel like here they all just turn on Yunara, or at least I've developed that ADC complex where, you know, flanking his ADC is a little bit tricky. Definitely easier to do it on a champion like Yunara compared to a champion like Jinx, for example, right? Let's see how this fight breaks out. In this case, they're very engaged on our team, so we actually develop quite a big threat onto their side. Another thing that comes to my mind in this type of fight is that sometimes just being in the screen here and not dealing damage is quite menacing to them. Here we have the LeBlanc. It's a bit hard to see because he's only here. And we have also our Karma, we have our Lee Sin, and they're all here, and they're all fighting in this zone, right? What happens when you see the Yunara walk into this zone? Even if the Yunara isn't dealing damage, and you're, like, in this group here, you're thinking, oh crap, I'm getting, like, you know, we're getting pincered from all sides, right? We have pincer from here, from here. It's quite difficult to play, and sometimes just exerting this pressure onto them without even being in auto attack range can be quite good. Of course, here, he actually just goes for it, he sends it, and he plays the fight. But then if they start walking towards you, you still have your team here. So you can just be a perfect distraction to enable your team to do quite well. So here, the wave state, we have a nice slow push. We're gonna now look to crash this wave. That's why we auto queue instantly. And when I get the reset, get the slow onto the Ezreal and go for the nice recall here. Another deliberate way of playing the game. Here, the wave is crashed into our tower. What does Smash do? He just leaves it here. And he keeps the wave here. And what's the idea? We want to play next to our tower, deny minions as much as possible. In this case, we know the Ezreal has the base, so we just deny him as much farm as possible, and we keep ourselves safe. What's the other, like, really positive thing going on here? Our Graves is topside, and we're playing next to our tower. Number 1, we're denying CS from Ezreal. 2, we're playing safe, and we can't die. And 3, there's even no place for us to do because our jungler is playing topside. It's perfect. It's such a good play to do this. And you should look out for these angles as well in your games when possible. So here we're maintaining the freeze. We've just saw the Bard recall here on this top side here. So I want to keep that in mind as we also see Ezreal approach our wave, and we also see our Karma ready to come. So here we go. It's time to fight. We're definitely getting Ezreal's flash if he still has it. Yeah, he doesn't. Just uses E and dies. Perfect. We punish the roam timer. We deny them a bunch of CS. We crash a wave as well onto him. And it's just so difficult for the Ezreal to play from here. We could watch this game a bit further, but I think we've hit quite a decent amount of fun stuff to watch and to take notes of. And honestly, I won't take more of your time. I hope you enjoyed it. This little breakdown, and if you'd like to see me take a bit more time, try to go through more bigger game and whatever, we can do that. But for now, I think it's really cool to see how we play with the Enchanter, how he uses wave states for his own benefit, and how he creates these gaps even, you know, oh, Enchanter not as strong. I mean, Karma is quite a strong early game Enchanter, let's be honest, but yeah, I think it's really cool to see this type of stuff. Even with that early death that happens level 1, right? With the limit testing, seeing if he cannot DPS the Ezreal, it's not far, you know, far from done with the game. So thank you for tuning in. If you like the content, leave a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!